This Super Bowl 59 picks edition of the Sports Gambling Podcast is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up with promo code SGPN to score up to $1,000 in bonus cash. We're also brought to you by Edge Boost. Earn up to $750 per month on your sports gambling transactions. Go to edgeboost.bet, promo code SGPN. We're also brought to you by Rhythm, the leader in data-driven picks and props. Get your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM.
Hey, this is Derek Stevens. I'm the owner of Circa Las Vegas. You're listening to SGPN. Let it ride.
Cox.
He's one of those guys who will get penetration.
Welcome everyone to the Sports Gambling Podcast. I'm Sean, stacking the money green with my partner in picks, Ryan, Real Money Kramer. What's happening, Cram?
Dog.
Happy Super Bowl, Sean.
Thank you. It is the Super Bowl. The Philadelphia Eagles are in it as predicted by me. You're welcome, America. How about those fucking Eagles, Ryan?
Did you predict that?
I did predict the Eagles were going to go to the Super Bowl. Yes.
Did you lock them up every round of the playoffs?
I locked them up 2 out of the 3 rounds.
Okay. I locked them up all 3 rounds.
Who did you
in
have?
fact, Sean, I've not gotten a lock wrong in the postseason.
Oh, don't jinx it.
I'm on an absolute heater.
Who did you
jinx? What's that?
Who did you have winning the NFC?
I mean, I don't think that's as a pertinent of a situation. Here.
Why? No, I'm just legit curious. I know it wasn't the Eagles. I'm trying to remember. You didn't, and you weren't crazy enough to have the Giants winning the NFC.
I'll give you 2 guesses. Not your. Let's just assume you're right, and it wasn't the Giants.
Wasn't the Giants? Wasn't the Eagles? I think you probably went Lions.
Hold on, I'm looking. I was about to have a good laugh. Yeah. Hold on. I'm pretty sure it was the Cardinals. Let me pull this up.
Oh my God, no. You didn't have.
No.
I know you
it
had
was the Lions. It was
okay.
the Lions.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah, I had a reasonable prediction this year. Detroit took down the Cardinals in the conference championship, so I was close. Bucks took down the Eagles. It was there. I mean, there's some alternate realities that work here.
Oh, sure. Yes. Alternate realities 100%. Easy pointing out that I do predict the Eagles every year. Well, yeah, I mean, and I've been right 2 out of the last 3 years.
It doesn't make the prediction wrong.
No, exactly. And I can be unbiased when it comes to my predictions, and spoiler alert, I will be unbiased when breaking down Super Bowl 59. Doesn't mean I'm not going to like the Philadelphia Eagles. Ryan, a little schedule change from normally how we do these week of Super Bowl shows. And of course, if you haven't already, sign up for our Super Bowl squares, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/squares. We're giving away $1,000 to 1 square for the final score. No multiple squares, just 1 person winning $1,000 completely free, as always on the Sports Gambling Podcast. Get in over there, and now Patreon members, we're gonna have a special contest for you guys. We also are just dropping the bonus SGP Stories episode. It was from Super Bowl Radio Row. We had never before heard a Radio Row interview with Mr. Brandon Lang, the inspiration for 2 for the Money, and we broke that down with CJ. We never released it, until today.
It drops hours from now, and yeah, like you said, it's not only though, it's literally the only segment from the show we've never aired. I can't. Yeah. Can you think of another time we've edited out a full interview? Or edited anything, period. There's been a couple words said, shout out to Boston Capper, that we then were asked to bleep. But other than that, and we've bleeped out a couple competing shows names along the way. But I don't think we've ever cut a full segment from the show. Everyone we've interviewed has made the final cut.
Didn't we? I think we lost an interview with Dick Vermeil, but that may have been technical issues. Not certainly not for content.
Well, didn't we have him? Did we completely lose it? I feel like I found it. I was able to recover it, I believe.
Okay,
so I do believe.
I'm trying
Dick
to remember
Vermeil's
anything else that didn't make the light of day. But Brandon Lang interview. Spoiler alert, he was kind of annoying, and we just said, well, we're not going to play this. And then legend grew over the years, and then we brought in CJ to break it down. Very fun rewatch.
I have some feedback. So I know that it has not aired yet, but the feedback is that we need to do more of these types of episodes with CJ. Us reliving a memory from the past of the show, having CJ there as a moderator.
Yeah, because CJ was good at asking some questions of, hey, what are you gonna do? Where are you at? So that was very fun. Make sure to check that out on Patreon. But getting back to the Super Bowl schedule for this week, tonight's episode. Now we used to do that. We used to do this episode normally the day before or a couple days out. This was usually the last episode. But I think we talked about it, and it makes sense. Give us our final predictions, who we think is going to win the Super Bowl, final score, maybe a couple props sneak in during the process, and then we have the props episodes coming up. We'll give out 59 props. We have the Eagles props for Super Bowl 59, Chiefs props for Super Bowl 59, the exotic props for Super Bowl 59, and a ladders episode with CJ. So that is how we're going to get to our 59 props. I've
started working up the sheet already, and for those in the Patreon, there will be a separate Super Bowl sheet to see how we're going to get there. It won't be a problem. Won't be the biggest. The only
look at this thing. I already got a ton of stuff circled on my circus sheet. And I wrote my name on the sheet too, just in case Ryan was trying to steal my picks.
I walked into the office tonight, and I almost took a picture for social media, but I was like, you know what, this is a private item. We have not spoken about it on the air.
Do you have the whole card cam live or no?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, there you go.
Look at this. Show the name in the corner. There you go.
Spoiler alert! Don't want to show. May have had a team already circled there for my pick.
I saw an arrow too, but I won't say anything.
But I
not a total.
I sat down this afternoon and shout out. I don't know if you, Ryan. I went to a museum, a botanical garden.
Oh my goodness!
Well, I
calm before the storm.
Yeah, I was like, oh hey, my wife. You want to do something on Sunday? Went to the Huntington Gardens. Okay. It was actually a Chinese New Year.
Yep, the Lunar New Year.
Yeah, got to enjoy some culture there. But and then I came back and I'm like, I got to work my way through this circuit props sheet. And without using a laptop at all or anything, I just walked through it, all gut feeling, all game script feeling. And obviously I do have a bunch of stats, a bunch of nuggets leading me in the direction of where I'm going with my picks. I also, Ryan, and I can tell you are slightly jealous that I went viral for my Devonta Smith stat tweet that really took over the internet. I tweeted out Devonta Smith.
My first thought was, you're a real son of a bitch. You came after me for this exact style, and then all of a sudden,
no.
Oh, what do you mean? No. It's in the eye of the beholder, whatever they say. You put the information out there, let the person reading it decide what it means.
No, I said Eagles receiver Devonta Smith has played Steve Spagnuolo 3 times in his career. His stat lines from those games: 7 for 122, 7 for 100, 6 for 99. And I think it's interesting. As I was digging into props, Devonta Smith has done well against this Chiefs defense. Now,
I agree. Information is great to share.
Yeah.
With people.
Now, again, when making the prop choices, you have to factor in a bunch of stuff. None of these games were with Saquon Barkley.
Loved how you didn't have any subjective information. It was just objective. That's great.
No, I didn't even give an opinion.
Exactly.
Now Dov Klimoff or whatever his name is, he hijacked.
Wait, what'd you call him?
Dov Klimoff, or what's his name?
Isn't it Kleiman?
Kleiman. Dov Kleiman hijacked my tweet. He did do the HT at Sean T Green. But he added commentary. He said Smith will eat Sunday. I didn't follow that. Well, I didn't include that commentary. Mine was unbiased.
It was genius. I'm telling you, it was those diamonds.
The people do
like the diamonds.
They appreciate good formatting.
Is it a good thing when Dov picks your work up?
I think so.
What is a Dov? What kind of name is that?
That is not a real name. We talk about this on the show.
Have you heard
the
rumors that this account? So was it last year that he got exposed for like keeping his access to a number of accounts he had done partnerships with, and In this case, it was like, what was it? Playmaker. What?
I forget. It was like a fantasy company where he figured out some backdoor even after they fired him to get into their account and was using it to defend himself.
But also, just by all accounts, the guy's pretty much seems like a scumbag.
I mean,
at minimum.
The reason I became aware of it is because I got notification. Someone wrote, "You're a butt munch" or something like that, and I'm like, "What is this in response to?" And then it says like you were tagged in an account you muted, because I was tired of seeing his shit pop up on my timeline. So useless. I muted him because he's
There's better versions of him, and what I was going to say is, do you know have you heard the rumor that the person that started the whole thing is no longer involved, and that it's some sort of AI system? Dov is just AI.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Interesting. So you're attracting AI.
Yeah.
Attention.
Shout out to AI. Ryan, also
dangerous week to be attracting AI attention.
Also in this episode, I
just realized you put this green fucking hat on my side.
Yeah, you're supporting the Eagles.
What is this kind of bullshit?
They're the sweet D-Gens hat.
Jake, send me a red one immediately.
Promo code Big Game, get you 25% off? I forget, 25 or 15% off. Promo code Big Game at the merch store. And also an opportunity for the listeners. Call in. The Discord line is going to be open. We got some of the regulars who call into the pregame show to lock in. Go on record. What is your pick? What are you doing for the Super Bowl? And if the listeners want to toss out some props as well, that's a good idea as well. All right. We're going to be joined by some callers, Ryan. The lines are lighting up. But before we do, of course, shout out to DraftKings. This ain't the little itty bitty teeny tiny bowl. This is Super Bowl 59. Get in on the action over at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of Super Bowl 59. Right now over on DraftKings, KC -125 on the money line. Eagles +105 coming back the other way. And we all know it's about TDs, those sweet, sweet touchdowns. That's how you're going to be able to host the Lombardi Trophy, and you got a shot to score big over on DraftKings Sportsbook, the #1 place to bet on touchdowns. Kramer, we're going to be giving out some TDs when we talk props. I'm sure I got a anytime I like, some first touchdowns I like. I'm looking at the price of DraftKings.
Noah Gray. Oh, excuse me.
And my model is not showing Chiefs for the first touchdown, but it would be tough to talk someone out
of.
Yeah, he's interesting, but I'll tell you,
I got to be honest. And first touchdowns, for those who love my first touchdowns, they will be on the show with CJ on Thursday.
Yes.
My system is really conflicted because there's quarterbacks, there's tight ends.
It's interesting. Certainly chalky. I'll just say this: Will Shipley 60-1 first touchdown, possibly a name to keep an eye on.
If Kenny Gainwell
doesn't clear concussion,
that's good. You're playing the insurance there, because just in case something happens, we got the Will Shipley MVP 1,001 in our pocket.
New DraftKings customers can bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code SGP. That's code SGP for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5 only on the DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, 21 plus, age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. New customers only. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. And we're also brought to you by Rhythm, AI powered sports betting platform. You know, we're going to be getting on some Rhythm props for the old Super Bowl. Love Rhythm. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RATHMM. Get your free 7-day trial. Shout out to Rhythm. Gave me the confidence to fire Kentucky on the money line last week. And to me, again, you're going to have your way of doing it. But for me, you run multiple models on this Rhythm thing. If the models are agreeing and there's some consensus, that is always stuff I find interesting and that I want to fire on. We'll see. This is one that I will be giving out later on in the week, but Rhythm likes it as well. Xavier Worthy under 55.5 receiving yards. Rhythm likes it. I like it. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RATHMM. Get in over there and get you your free 7-day trial. All right, Ryan. Let's bring on a man, the myth, the legend. You predicted his team, Ryan, to get into the conference championship. Unfortunately, they ran into the Washington Commanders, but still a good season. Sure, he's high on there, and very injured. I won't. He's not a guy who's going to make excuses for his team, so I'll make them for him. Let's bring Easy onto the show. Easy, good to see you. What's happening, man?
Hey, what's going on, guys? I appreciate that intro, Sean. It was great reliving that again.
I wasn't trying to be painful. It was more just
You're setting the stage.
Well, vamping so that we could get Easy on here, and shout out to Easy. Got the long hair flowing, the mane. I do like how Easy is like a Lions fan and got like a lion vibe with the long hair, the mane.
Just watched the video of a lion that's about to go hang out and take a nap under a tree. And I don't know if it's some sort of cat had brought a gazelle up into the tree. It's a gazelle just falls out of the tree. Someone wrote Uber Eats Africa edition. Made me laugh. Anyway, speaking of lions.
Speaking of lions, we're here talking Philadelphia Eagles, Kansas City Chiefs. Easy. Let's start with you. What's your take on the game? How do you see this shaking out? Are you playing? Are you one of those guys? Oh, the market's too efficient. I'm not going to play anything in the Super Bowl. What do you like for the game? And then I'm sure you got some props. I already got some defensive stuff I like, but take it away, Easy. What are you doing for Super Bowl 59?
Yeah, so I'm kind of in both sides of what you just said. I don't play a lot of stuff that I typically play because the lines are going to be super sharp and they're probably going to be doing stuff that they don't normally do and that kind of thing. So I find other stuff to bet on. So it's a lot of defensive stuff and special team stuff.
Let's go.
That's on my ticket. Yeah, so I got some of both of that for y'all. But
and real quick, Sean, you're going to want to turn to page 3 in your packet. If you're following along on the Circus Sports prop packet page, page
this is
3.
Beautiful. Page 3. Yes, we got a bunch of props here.
Anyway, sorry. Continue.
Easy. Keep going. What are we looking at?
All right. So I mean, like I said, I have some special team stuff and some defensive stuff. So which one y'all want first?
Let's go special teams.
Yeah.
I don't currently have, and I'm going to be adding stuff obviously to the card, but right now. Oh, you know what? Take that back.
I got no kicking stuff.
I have one interesting one, and let's see if I can find it here because give out your special team stuff that you like. Easy.
All right, so I got 3 for y'all for the special teams. The first 2 are both punters to punt for a touchback. Matt Ariza is 2-1, and Braden Mann is plus 240. So I really like both of those. I think there's going to be more punts in this game than people potentially think there's going to be. For Braden Mann specifically, with the Jake Elliott issues that he's had the last couple weeks, I think if they get in that no man's land kind of area, they may look to punt for field position rather than going for points and missing. So plus 240, I love that one. And then Matt Ariza on the other side, he's got a cannon for a leg, so he could kick a touchback from the 30. So I really like both of those.
Ryan, 2 I've already
and Sean, those are on the offense and special team player prop pages if you're wondering.
Okay. One we mentioned on the VSiN show that I'm sure I'm going to be playing. First kickoff to be a touchback.
Yeah. You're right. We do have
that one's at like plus 2 something, 230.
I love 260. People hate that. People really are annoyed by this one. Have you heard the mainstream talk about this?
Yeah, they're all saying it's going to be
your mortgage on the other side.
Yes, but I'm still taking the plus money. I know the Eagles, on the Eagles side of it, they want you to return it because they've gotten 2 fumbles on kickoff returns in the playoffs. You don't think, and Jake Elliott doesn't have as crazy of a leg on kickoffs.
No, he sucks right now. He's capable of anything.
He's a wild card. He misses extra points, but he's actually done pretty well kicking field goals. Now he did miss a 55-yarder. That was a tough kick outdoors there. Another one, and I'll test Easy on this because I want your thoughts. What will be greater, total points or the last field goal made? I think if you like the under, this is kind of a fun way to play it because longest field goal made is plus 130. Total points is minus 150. So if you're looking to play the under, I think
Well,
I
what do you
think-
got?
well,
I mean,
I guess
what's the field goal line at? For the
I
game?
guess it's
47.5 or whatever.
Yeah, I guess it's 2 moving things.
Well,
if you
there
think
you
they can hit a field goal and the over, and maybe you're better just parlaying those if they allow you. But I kind of like longest field goal made at plus 130 because I think there would be. It's in a dome.
Total has come down.
Someone hitting a 50-yarder to me, or like early low 50s, kind of makes sense. But easy, how do you see that shaking out?
Based off the score I'm predicting, I think the field goal is going to be longer.
Okay, so yeah, at plus 130 again. I wouldn't do anything big with this, but
Well,
if you
Sean,
like
anyone to make a 55-yarder is plus 625. Now, hello.
Yeah, I'm just saying if you're already on the under,
I'm just gonna make a notation next to that one.
if you're already on the under, and again, I think just for a reminder of this, like whatever your score is, your prediction, look for other fun ways to play that, because to Easy's point, like if he's got it as like a 17-14 game, then you should look for stuff like this where it's like, oh, longest field goal. If you think it's going to be like a low 30s, low 40s game, there's got to be some value here on the field goal being longer there.
And the crossover props, like same principle, but going against whatever other random sports they're giving you.
God, I fucking love this Super Bowl. Easy. What else you got here? Special teams.
Yeah, so the last special teams one I can actually kind of put a little bit with what you said on your first one of the first touchback being run out. The Chiefs return man Remigio, he's been lights out the last few weeks, so he's going to take every chance he has to run a ball out. I had to put money on him somehow in this game, so I did Chiefs longest punt return over 11.5 yards. He's had 2 in the playoffs so far, and both that he's had have gone for 12 or more. One went for 12 exactly, and the other one went for like 42 or whatever. Is that one that he almost broke for the touchdown?
I love that one.
Yeah, this was my way of putting money somehow on Remigio because that's really the only thing he's going to do. But I do like your touchback play for that same reason too. I think he's going to try to make plays every time he can.
He has a green light. To your point on the returns.
Like, and especially if the Eagles kick off.
Oh my God, we're winning this bet. Should we bet a ridiculous amount of money on it?
I might. We need to find a ridiculous prop to bet a large sum of money.
I think it might. What if it's just the opening kickoff?
It might be. It might be.
What a hilarious way to start it. Let's put $1,000 on that.
Easy. All right. So you got some special team stuff. What do you got cooking up for the defensive side?
Yeah, so I have more on the defensive side than I do on special teams, just because that's what I've been rolling with for the last few months now, I guess. So my favorite ones, I went heavier in the sacks than I did on interceptions for this one. I do still have a couple of interceptions, but I think there's going to be a lot of pressure in this game. I think a large part of who wins this game is who can get the most pressure. So I'm kind of factoring that into my plays. The first one that I'm rolling with is probably the quote unquote chalky side of the defensive. But that's Nolan Smith to get a sack plus 104.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I'm also betting him to get 2+ sacks at plus 650. I think that's great value there.
And while you're there, Easy, can I interest in a Nolan Smith MVP ticket at 400 to 1?
Unfortunately, Arizona State didn't come through for you.
Oh yeah, I did. So I've already lost the bet on the Super Bowl because I parlayed Arizona State plus 6.5 with Nolan Smith MVP. It was $40 to win 30 grand. So Arizona State didn't come through for me. But yeah, I mean, I like Nolan Smith a ton in this game, and you saw it in the Commanders, right? They did everything they could to double Jalen Carter and clog up that middle, create some very good matchups on the outside.
Sean,
and the Chiefs have struggled with their tackles all season.
Idea for social media. I'm not seeing a 2-sack price at the Circa for Nolan Smith.
Okay.
They are offering it for guys like Jones and Karlaftis. So perhaps you should.
I'll hit up Benson.
Hit up your boy Benzie.
He'll get that added. And Jalen Carter's anytime sack, just for him to get 1 sack, is at plus 200. I think they're going to go out of their way to not let him get a sack, but I mean, you know, their guards have not been great. I mean, their offensive line in general. So 2 to 1, I think that's kind of interesting. But what else you got on your defensive props there, Easy?
Yeah. So the other Eagle that I like to get a sack is actually Zach Bond. He's plus 525, which is crazy odds. Yeah. And I mean, like I said, I think they're going to have to get pressure on Mahomes. I think they're going to try to do anything and everything they can to get pressure on Mahomes. So I think that's going to be a lot of Zach Bond, who's already been all over the place this season, does everything. So at plus 525, I think that's just ridiculous. I also have him to get an interception at plus 1900. Because
wow.
I think that's another great shot.
I'm with you on the Bond stuff, just because him getting the sacks, not crazy at all. And I think to your point, I think you're in your mind, maybe you're like, oh, they're going to bring the blitz a little bit. I wouldn't be surprised if they have Bond at times spying Patrick Mahomes. So maybe there's one of those where it's like broken play. He looks to make a run. Bond is reading him and keying him, because I do think they're going to try and stop Patrick Mahomes from scrambling, and he tackles him like just short, and it gets graded as a sack, and maybe not your traditional blitz. So any props like that where you can get home in multiple ways. Ryan, are you writing these down? I want to make sure I don't forget these.
Is plus 675 out at the Circa to get a sack.
Wow. That's
only
crazy.
1350 for the interception. Yeah, I mean they're actually, again, the Circa packet is organized nicely, Sean.
So you got that going.
Mine
defense.
has my name on it though, so
Anything else you like, Easy?
Yeah, I got a couple for the Chiefs that you won't like, but I'm going to throw them out there anyway. Tershawn Wharton to get a sack plus 155. And I'm also going to bet him 2+ at plus 1,000. He's got 2 in the postseason so far. He had 7 during the regular season. I think he has just as good of a chance of getting a sack as, Jones and Karlaftis both do, but he's not going to have the attention that Jones and Karlaftis have. So I think he's got just a slightly better chance of getting a sack or 2 sacks, and he's got way better odds. So I really like that. And then the last one that I have is Brian Cook interception. That's a plus 800. I know he's got that quad injury that he's dealing with, but he's been going full practices the last few days. I don't think that's going to limit him at all. So I think he's probably got the best shot at an interception if Hurts is to throw one, just on one of those deep balls that they throw, or, he gets pressured in his face, overthrows something. Brian Cook's the guy that would get it.
All right. Yeah. I mean, obviously I don't agree with those, but,
I'm good with them. And I was getting lost in these defensive players.
I would say if you're playing Hurts interception stuff, just make sure you're getting a good price, because Hurts not to throw an interception is minus 180. And it's been I think you got to go back to September since he threw one.
Yeah. You're better off playing sack stuff. And my handicap suggests we lean into some sacks. He would rather take a safety than throw an interception.
No, and I know you're trying to say that insulting.
No,
Ryan,
I'm not.
He's very cautious with the football.
Are you kidding me? I'm literally locked in, undefeated for the playoffs. Only been objective handicapping. You're very on edge this week.
Easy. What's your final score prediction?
Yeah. So, I mean, like I said, I think it's going to be a little bit of a defensive game. I don't think it's going to be insanely defensive. I have the Chiefs winning 27-23. I think y'all go for 2 at some point and don't get it, and that kind of affects y'all a little bit. Makes it so the last drive of the game, y'all have to score a touchdown instead of kick a field goal to tie, and that's what costs y'all. So
I love that prediction, Easy.
Well, Easy,
fabulous prediction.
Good on all your.
Notice how he got right there around the total, like a true sharp.
Good luck on all your positive Eagles props, and worst of luck on your final score and other props. But great to hear you, Easy. Make sure you check out Easy. Always in the Discord. Great hearing from you, Easy. Appreciate it, man. Let it ride.
Appreciate y'all.
Good luck to all of his props, Sean. Yeah, I'll be nice.
I'm nice, but I'm not going to root a guy good luck for picking against the Eagles. Kramer, let's bring up our next guy. You know him, you love him, from the Arizona State community.
Oh wow!
Shout out to, we have a strong ASU contingency.
Oh yeah,
and certainly
think about the vibe down there.
Yeah,
makes sense.
I mean, it's DGen country.
You know I'm a degenerate.
If you get into Arizona State, I feel like you got to be a little bit of a DGen. Joining us, you know him from the man who pioneered the kickoff return market. Shout out to DraftKings Sportsbook from a good SGP. Single-handedly had them take it down. Although maybe they brought it back for the Super Bowl. I have not looked around. Joining us on the line, Sup Boy. Sup Boy, are they going to be hanging kickoff return numbers for this game, you think?
I'm going to be looking, but they do have kickoff specials, and they do have a couple things. So that's where I'll start out with. Actually, is you already mentioned the first one, the return, like yes or no, for opening kickoff. So we would probably want the Eagles to start with the kickoff for sure, right? Because they have a higher chance of kicking it to like the one, or barely inside the end zone. But I was actually looking, and I hadn't checked the model, and since they stopped it, right? And looking at the numbers in general, there's a high probability. There's like about a 42% chance that the kickoff's returned. And not to get like super into the numbers, but that should be about like plus 150. So you're getting plus 205 for an opening return. Yeah, I mean that's good value already. So
yeah, anything over 2-1, I think is a play on. And Easy saying they do have over under kickoff returns, and it's 3.5. What's the circa number?
Oh, I was gonna say I'm pretty sure the number is bigger. I'll have to look at some online stuff, but the circa as of when we grab these late Friday night plus 260.
Yeah, and I think the square or the people putting out content and maybe adjusting some of these weirder props. Look at Subboy's like confused by that pricing. I think they are pushing people to the touchback, and it's been touchback 3 years in a row. What people aren't factoring in the handicap is those new landing zone rules, which they encourage.
You can't offer this price.
They try. And again, if it loses, it loses. Maybe he gets a hold of it. It is a dome, but I still think it's a great bet. Price considering there. What else you cooking up here, Sup boy?
What sharp? Anyway, it's fine. I don't think I understand how sharps are saying it's guaranteed touchback when the last 3 out of the 5 games in the playoffs that these two teams have faced it wasn't a touchback. So anyway, I'm not
they're just going off previous Super Bowl stuff. Now, granted, those games were outdoors.
Everyone
but
saw Buckner kick it out of the end zone last year. Yeah, that's all it is.
You just remember last year's Super Bowl.
Yeah, no, that's fine. It's plausible, I mean, I get it. It's the first kickoff.
I'm going to be betting way too much money on this.
This might be the one. This is now where we're getting reinforcement, Sean.
I'm sorry. I get annoyed when people, it's like, what sharp are you really? It's it's a statistical probability.
Yeah,
that's a weird. Anyway, I get into that too much. So, Easy kind of already touched on this with the punt return yardage. There's another prop that's hit 5 out of 5 games for each of these teams, and it's another kickoff prop. It's over under longest return. It's at 30.5. And the Eagles and the Chiefs in the playoffs have hit that number in their game each time. And I'm pretty sure the Chiefs and Eagles are the ones who have done it. So is that because other special teams defenses are bad, or is that because they're just good at returning the ball? It could be one or the other, but I kind of like that prop of over 30.5 yards for the longest return.
Yeah, and the formula is pretty easy. I mean, again, I think the Eagles are trying to kick it right, obviously in that 5 to goal line range to force a return, because they like their chances of maybe creating a fumble, and they like their kick coverage in general. But to your point, like someone getting the ball at like the 2 and then run it out to the 35 seems totally doable.
We need to put a huge bet on the opening kickoff. We're gonna get the over on this in the opening kickoff.
And also too, to your point,
this is how reckless things happen. Super Bowl week. We got 6 more days to stew on this.
Also, if you're going deep in the math, this is kind of a correlated bet, right? Like if you do think there's going to be a bunch of points in there, there's going to be a bunch of chances for more returns, for more chances to hit that over 30.5. So I guess kind of just keep in mind those type of things, right?
I think you get 4 returns. We're getting home with that one.
Yeah. So an Easy mentioned the kickoff at 3.5, right? The number I got with the model is at like 4.3. So you're getting around that many. And here's the thing too, it's in a dome now as well. So these teams are used to playing on surfaces where it's hard to kick field goals. Like people talk over under, but that, has a little to do with the game. But if you kick a field goal, that's actually more towards the under in general, because you can go, Chiefs 8-minute drive field goal. That's an under hit, but it's an over for the, for the touchback. So in return. So it's it's a different kind of mindset. I guess I can't even see the kickoff return totals anymore because I'm looking at my kickoff specials and they might have just took that one off.
Do you think anyone else has a kickoff model?
Yeah, we got listeners who are limited on kickoffs. That's the greatest.
That is a flex. You should almost put that in your profile.
Yeah, maybe that's a T-shirt.
Right next to your unit.
I've been limited on kickoff return props. That's a hardcore flex in the sharp gambling world. Sup boy, what else you got cooking up here?
Yeah. So, Sean, you're not gonna like this comment at all. Just so you know, I'm gonna preface this by saying the Eagles organization is great at drafting. They have great players. It's an amazing football team. If I had to pick, even I would pick them to win the Super Bowl if there wasn't, some shenanigans going on, maybe with Patrick Mahomes and everything, right? With that said, Nick Sirianni does some dumbass shit sometimes. I have no idea what he's doing. And he loves calling timeouts early and often. So the first timeout is -110 each side. I love the Eagles calling the first timeout. It's just, I'm telling you, like, they love calling timeouts, whether it be a 4th down play, they're trying to decide what to do. That the call's late, whatever it is, it's hit. They've been the first team to call timeout in each of the postseason games so far.
Yes.
So
well, good nugget, because I feel like he's gotten slightly better. But to your point, if he's still the first, it doesn't. Even if he's using it later on.
You sound like my wife talking about my daughter after
she's
a game.
gotten slightly better. Well, and Andy Reid always used to be the worst about timeouts. And so he is going up against one of the all-time worst guys at burning timeouts, Andy Reid. But I trust Sup Boy's handicap here.
Yeah. Also, they have gotten better at that. Like they still do occasional dumb things, but they're in so few scenarios. I guess that would be the other argument. The Chiefs rarely are in a position to do dumb things at this point.
I think Mahomes has the offense. Go ahead, sorry.
Yeah. No, I was just gonna say, and it like, do you remember a game where he's blown something because of his dumbass challenge or timeouts this year?
I mean, there was, before the bye week, there was some go for it field goal stuff that he really
just lower rate
did bad.
Yeah,
but since post bye, I don't have any massive complaints with Sirianni.
I wish you could. There is a bet where you could just how many timeouts will be called in the game and just take the over.
Shot. Sean, do you remember the Jacksonville game? So yes. I think they ended up winning 28-22, but I want nothing more than Jacksonville to win that game because they were like practicing their let's get them to jump off sides and then go for it, and they missed like two extra points. And I was like, please lose, because this is just like, it's a little disrespectful to Jacksonville. Like, if they're not that great, but then I don't know. I was just like,
it was a weird game. They were at some points trying to lose it. There was a Saquon fumble where he was down that they ruled a fumble, but then they got the late interception to ice it. But that certainly was a weird game because they were like blowing them out, and then they started playing with their food, which they realized they probably couldn't do. And Jacksonville's great at losing a game where they almost come back. That's so classic Jags. And shout out to Goldilocks throwing that late pick. All right, one more. You got another prop for us? What else you got cooking up over there?
Yeah, I got two more. You already kind of mentioned one of them, Devonta Smith. I actually like this even better just because I think Kansas City. We talk about the tight ends versus them and everything, and Goddard's probably fine in that regard, but it's more about like how their defense is set up. I feel like when I'm watching, like you even see Mac Hollins, right? He had those like kind of, it's whoever lines up in that kind of like area, that like tight slot area. Devonta Smith lines up outside a lot, but also go in and then pop out or go for those deep balls. So I really like that play in general. Kansas City kind of has problems dealing with like the quicker, faster receivers as well. If there is a problem with either of these defenses, because they're probably the best two in the league, right? So that's one of them. And then the last one I have is a Xavier Worthy touchdown. He actually has the second most red zone targets on the Chiefs over Travis Kelce. It's
interesting how he's kind of turned into a red zone guy. And I like his under receiving yards. I would almost be a little worried though
Really?
about him getting a touchdown. No, again, I'm pretty optimistic on the Eagles cornerbacks in general.
If you want a
Go ahead.
weird parlay, I think, because they do a bunch of short stuff to them too.
Yeah.
So I was looking at the Eagles game logs against, and that there's like a lot of players with 7 catches, 44 yards, something like that. So
So maybe
interesting.
like the over receptions, under yards with a touchdown. If they let you combine all those, that's kind of intriguing.
Yeah, I'm not sure how that correlation works or anything, but just maybe some thoughts there. But I'll have to check my friend's account for the kickoff props.
Subboy, what is your give us a final score prediction?
You're not gonna like this one either, but for comedy's sake, 27-26, the Eagles lose because they try and push to win it.
Oh wow!
Wow,
Well,
that's very specific.
They would cover the 1.5.
27, 26.
They'll cover.
And I think you're probably almost describing the ideal scenario for the books. If I had to guess,
Oh my god,
it would probably be
Oh my god,
Chiefs to win by 1 or something like that, because I think most people are taking the Eagles money line or laying the 1.5 with the Chiefs. So if there is that middle, that's probably their dream scenario.
Yeah, bet splits would agree.
Sup boy, thank you for calling in. Appreciate it, man, and let it ride. Good to hear from you.
Have a good one. Yeah, appreciate it.
Kramer, we normally save this guy for the pregame show, for games where Mike Evans' anytime touchdown would apply.
Yes.
But good to hear from him talking about the big game.
Oh, look at this.
Rocking
setup.
his big blue hat. You know,
I see a cheese sword.
You love it. Cheese dagger.
I'm
Come
sorry.
on.
Dagger.
I'm sorry.
Michigan's own, or University of Michigan's own. Dick Puncher. What's happening, Mr. Puncher?
Yeah, not much. I still lamenting that Dallas Goedert touchdown against Carrington Valentine. I still want to throw Valentine into a locker for that one. Like, oh my god.
I mean, I don't know if you saw it, but the mic'd up where Goddard was like, "Yeah, I made sure to slow down to give him some with the stiff arm." That was pretty one of the highlights so far of the playoffs. But Packers. It was a good game there, back and forth. But how are we feeling about Super Bowl 59? What are you getting down on? There is no Mike Evans anytime touchdown to bet.
If only,
which is I know is your staple there. But what do you like here for the big game?
All right, so I'll give you at the end. I'll give you my final score and everything. But I'm not in love with like either team. So like I'm not huge on either team, like winning. But like I'm not like overly confident.
Yeah.
But I do like the over on the game. I don't think it's going to be crazy. I don't think it's going to be insane scoring. But over 48.5, I like that. I think it's going to be a little over that, like 51-ish, something like that. I also love, I guess I'll start out with a Kansas City one. I like Mahomes. Maybe you'll get with me on this one because it's not like a crazy anti-Eagles thing. Over 5.5 rush attempts.
Yeah.
Which is not a crazy price. It's minus 140, but I mean, in the past 4 Super Bowls that he's been in,
he goes out of his
9, 6, 5, and 9 in this playoffs. He had 7 carries versus Houston, and then he went up to 11 versus Buffalo. So like, and frankly, I think that in itself is indicative of as the game gets more important, like the bigger the spotlight, the more he's like, I need to make something happen here. And he does this on prime time all the time. Well, so and also kneel down type stuff at the end of half or something.
Yeah. I like how you saved yourself by saying end of half instead of end of game. No,
or end of game.
And two thoughts there. One, if you're with if you're with Dick Puncher on the over Mahomes rush attempts, I would actually get this ASAP. This is one that I've heard enough chatter about that I think, or as the week goes on, I think the Square Public would be like, oh, he runs all the time. That one might get some steam. So
I'll disagree because the number was 6.5. It's come down.
Oh, really?
And
okay.
with now like you said, minus 140 to the over.
Okay.
But
yeah.
It that does indicate that. I mean, what does that tell you? They want to try to, I guess, entice people to take the plus money under still.
Yeah.
This is going to be one of my biggest bets, probably.
And they do design runs for him in these conference championships in the Super Bowl. They don't do design runs any other time.
Specifically, like the reason that he's running more is that they're doing these weird rollouts where they move the pocket.
Yeah.
And it's like it's a pass or he runs option. And so love this
sprint red option.
He also runs most often against man coverage, which the Eagles were top 10 all year. They've been, I think, they would have been like top 5 against the league in the playoffs in terms of man coverage. So, I think that this definitely skewed. Like this is also going to be one of my biggest bets.
And to Sean's point of spying, like I think part of the reason they might move him in the same way is what you're describing. But you put Bond in a weirder spot, having to track him out to the boundary every time.
And it might be Oren Burks. I'm just saying I could see. It was more just Easy's prop where he was describing a Zach Bond sack. I could see him hanging around the line of scrimmage, keeping an eye on Mahomes, and then one of those plays where it's like, oh, it's just short of the line of scrimmage, and they give him the sack. Besides, obviously, maybe using him in the blitz.
I want to bet on one of those linebackers to get a personal foul called on him.
I haven't seen any of the penalty props. We'll save it maybe for the exotics episode.
I think so. Hopefully they're out.
And shout out to NFL Ref Stats. He was saying holding penalties is his thing. He thinks they're going to put away the whistle for the most part.
Yeah.
But that holding penalties on the offensive line, which could be an issue for the Chiefs. So something to keep an eye on. We'll maybe work up his write up there when we talk about the exotic stuff. All right. So what else you getting on here, Dick Puncher?
So other side of the ball, I want Jalen Hurts 10 or more rushing attempts at.
Let's go.
I think it was minus 105 or something. Yeah. I mean, he did this last game. He's gonna have 2 weeks to heal up. They don't have to save him after this going forward. I love it. I love Hurts 10+ rushing.
Yeah, and well, getting into more props just real quick here. One, I mean, you saw against Washington, like there's a scenario where, hey, if they're running a tush push on second down, it doesn't happen. Oh, they'll run on third down. It doesn't happen on third down. We're running one more time. The crazy thing is, Ryan, Circa is offering, will there be a one, the over under on longest touchdown? It's set at 1.5. I always like the under.
Price?
I think it's like minus 170 ish.
Perfect.
But they have a separate prop. Just will Jalen Hurts score a 1-yard touchdown?
What's that number?
That's priced at plus 180, which to me, that is crazy. I wouldn't take the Jalen Hurts at plus 180.
No,
but I think it just shows you how much value there is on the under longest 1.5 touchdown, 1.5 yards for the touchdown, which I like anyway in a vacuum. But yeah, so you like the Jalen Hurts rush stuff. I agree. 2 weeks of rest, gotta have it game. He won't be afraid to tuck it and run if he doesn't see what he likes. And yeah, 100% over 10.5. They'll have some design stuff for him. And again, I wouldn't be surprised in the same way against the Rams or even against the Commanders. He runs early. Now, some of that was to show them to play it because there was concern about his knee, but he runs early. Now, if you want to take Hurts first quarter rush attempts, I think that's interesting. But him running early because that hey, we want you to play Jalen Hurts on these read option types things. So it creates holes for Barkley. I like that angle as well. So interrupted you there with some Hurts rambling, but what else you got there, Dick Puncher?
All right. I'll give you something a little more degen, although I think you're probably already on this because you've been talking about this guy nonstop recently against this defense. Devontae Smith. Give me first touchdown. This is my only first touchdown I'm playing. 17-1 Devontae Smith. Yeah, give it to me. I mean, you obviously you can talk about your man here.
No, he's had good games against this Chiefs defense, and as Supboy highlighted, I think they're okay with some of that slot middle stuff in the same way that the tight ends are a problem for the Chiefs. I think Devontae might be an issue for them as well. In his 3 games, he hasn't gotten a touchdown, although he did get tackled at the 1 in that regular season game where they beat the Chiefs in Arrowhead. So he's gotten close. I also will probably run back his first of 20 receiving yards. That's at like 4 or 5 to 1, and his longest catch over 19.5, because Hurts will take some deep shots to him, I predict, and also like mid-range stuff, like you saw it against the Commanders there, that 20-yard pass right on the numbers there. He likes that as well. So Devontae, I think, has himself a game.
Yeah, I also like him ATD plus 250, by the way.
Yeah. Let's go.
I do think, and again, I maybe am in my own bunker. Don't listen to too many people, but it does seem like the guy you going viral and getting picked up by a Russian AI bot, Dov Kleiman aside, it does seem like everyone's on the Goddard angle, fading the Chiefs. And
it's hard to make an argument against it. Like, to me, the only argument against it is it's been the most talked about thing, at least from what I've seen as far as props. So I think pivoting to Devontae is a good angle.
Like, my prediction is if AJ Brown gets yards, it's going to be deep stuff down the sideline.
Yep.
If Goddard gets stuff, it's going to be short to intermediate, but towards the sideline. And then if it's the guy who's going to do like the dirty work is going to be Devonta Smith.
Yeah.
And so I could see a world where you take those two guys get taken out due to the game plan from Spags, and you end up with a lot of quicker stuff to Devonta.
And a little storyline as well. Devontae Smith is looking to become the 4th player all time to win a Heisman, national championship, and a Super Bowl, and he looks to do so in his home state of Louisiana.
Does he know that?
Does he know that?
Yeah.
What does he mean?
Like, do you think he knows that he would be the 4th person?
I don't know. I maybe
no, he doesn't strike me as the kind of guy that
he's
would keep up on that.
He's not a very me first guy, which is like he could be a receiver 1, I think, on a lot of teams, but he doesn't mind, his role here on the Eagles. And I mean, he certainly got paid and he loves the team and seems like a great teammate.
Do you have the other guys?
No, not off the top of my head.
But also, who cares if he knows that it's who cares if he knows? Because like, he's still going to want, he knows that it is the case for him, and he's still going to want, all those accolades for him. So, I mean, if he can say that about himself, who cares if there's 4 other guys or 15?
I just looked it up. Marcus Allen, Tony Dorsett, and Charles Woodson. So there you go. Michigan man, guy we met, who has his own whiskey, and Derek introduced us over at the circus. So it comes full circle.
You got to tell a little bit more than that. We were explaining how he was going to get down for $1.2 million on the Packers against the Bears.
Yeah, he kept going to Derek. He's like, so if I want to bet 1.2 million, and Derek's
I'm explaining the vig.
Okay.
I'm explaining the vig to him.
Yeah, he seemed relatively new to betting, but seemed like
this was like a year ago, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Somewhere there's some great pictures of me like,
or like, hey, we'll hang out with Charles Woodson. Dick Puncher, what do you got for your final score prediction?
I'm kind of on the same page with Easy and Subway. I've got Chiefs 27 again. We all seem to have Chiefs 27.
Wow.
Eagles 24.
Wow.
I mean, I'm not overly, it's just like every time it was kind of my same thesis last year with San Francisco, where I thought San Francisco was the better team. But Mahomes I mean, he just wins the game at the end. It just happens. I think the Eagles are the better team. But whatever other conspiracy might be involved, but like, I can't go against this trend of Mahomes. It's close at the end of the game, and he, makes something happen.
So 3 Chiefs, 3 overs.
All right. Well, add it to the tally. Dick Puncher, appreciate you calling in.
Yes.
Worst of luck with that pick, but good luck on your Devontae. Good luck on your Devontae pick. See Dick Puncher in the Discord. Yes. I know he's there. You can follow him on X there.
So he's
as
grinding
well.
his dick off on meme coins, I'm sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Pump
I'm getting destroyed today.
No.
Yeah. Crypto market is
good
down
right now. I know. Crown's down to 10 cents. I'm dying over here.
Don't look at it. Don't look at it if you're in the crypto market. All right, Dick Puncher, appreciate you calling in. And
all right, later,
course,
boys.
Ron,
cheers.
Later, man. Of course, if you're looking for some extra cash, Edge Boost, baby. We partnered up with them. They're the premier Visa debit card for bettors. Edge Boost card allows you to avoid the hassle. And if you're betting on the apps and stuff, even in casinos, sweepstakes sites, DFS books, whatever it is. Vol had that issue. Bank denies it. You're like, wait, I got action on here. What? And sometimes you get charged as a cash advance. That's why you load up the Edge Boost Visa debit card, FDIC insured. So you know your money's safe. It's not a credit card, so you don't need any credit checks. Load up one of these guys, and the best part is you're getting cash back every month. I opened up my. I actually got an email from Edge Boost saying your Edge Boost balance had adjusted. I got my rewards, Ryan. First of the month, perfect time to load up.
It's a sign.
Well, and it's a great way. I mean, imagine. And what are you going to do with your Edge Boost bet? Maybe take those rewards, put it on a Super Bowl MVP long shot in the Eagles secondary.
Chris Jones, anytime touchdown.
No, I would not be doing that. But hey, Ryan, it's up to you. Of course, sign up today. Use the promo code SGPN. So you get the better cashback rewards and the instant tier 2 status. Edgeboost.bet, promo code SGPN. Edgeboost.bet, promo code SGPN. And we're also brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Go to underdogfantasy.com. Use the promo code SGPN. Get you that instant deposit bonus, of course, as always, 50% up to $1,000. And Ryan, they continue to outdo themselves every single time. I'm seeing, what do we got here? Oh, they also have they have a no sweat token going. New players get a Kelsey play. We got a $15 no sweat token. I'm looking right at here, which I will probably be firing on some long shot stuff. But Ryan, what is an Underdog? Is that
the best way to use the EV over there?
Well, anytime I get like a free play or whatever, you try and break the bank with it, right?
Yeah, I think so. What should we? My thought was we have a piece of our entry each episode.
Great idea.
Yeah. Okay.
Great idea.
Well, I think we can go one of two ways here.
Okay.
You can entertain one of these defensive angles, because even though I may disagree macro on the game, I do think I agree with the pass rush angles on both sides.
Okay.
And I agree with the quarterbacks running the ball.
Okay.
So Mahomes running the Mahomes one is, I could almost be talked into that being the only Chief one we put on the card.
Mahomes over rushing.
Yeah, rushing attempts.
All right.
We're
gonna and my game script, to be clear. Well, Underdog has it set at 6.5 though. With a little spicy on the higher. Do we want to do that?
All right. So I'm pretty much like, I think the game plan is going to, he was very, people can look back to the first time, the last time they played in the Super Bowl. I believe he had 5 or 6 rush attempts, correct?
Sounds about right.
I don't know if you know that off the top of your head.
No,
but he's healthy this time. He had that catastrophic high ankle sprain. Now he's healthy. And I think I would bet on the fact that he has more than a handful of runs because they're moving him.
And because the Eagles pass rush is awesome.
That helps you get home with this one. Absolutely. Because
all right, to be clear, I'm not playing his yards or his anytime touchdown.
Jalen Carter, he's got that quick get off.
Underdogfantasy.com, promo code SGPN. All right, Kramer. What are we doing here? Super Bowl. Why don't we start? And we'll do a breakdown here. Start with the Eagles offense going up against the Kansas City defense. How do you see that shaking out?
Well, I do think that there's obviously a version of this game where they're able to impose their will running the ball.
Yes.
And we get to the end of the Super Bowl and somehow we still don't know if Jalen Hurts is going to be able to answer the bell through the air. I also think there's a version of this game where Spags cooks up some shit that Jalen Hurts is not ready for, because he's clearly shown that whether it's the concussions this year or just something that's happened to him, he's not as sharp or decisive as he was 2 years ago. And that's, at least from watching that Super Bowl. And a lot of it is not necessarily physically, but in how quickly he's reacting and doing stuff. And so I think the idea to me that Spags can cook up a game plan and confuse him a little bit. Absolutely. Do I think most likely we're going to see a game plan that is loaded up against the combination of Barkley and Hurts running the ball? I would hope so. I don't think you get to see what else happens if you don't try to stop Barkley. And so my thought would be, if I was Spags, is I would crowd the line of scrimmage and I would pressure Hurts and see what happens and adjust from there.
Yeah.
And so, that could lead to a game where Hurts is taking a ton of sacks and the Eagles offense may be struggling and Barkley needs to pop those 60-yard runs, or it could lead to Hurts having a great passing game because he's beating the blitz and he's hitting Devonta Smith. And so my thought would be, I would think that if they're getting home with the blitz and the pressure is working, I wouldn't bet on Hurts to beat that. And so, yeah, my thought is there's going to be the game plan will be the defensive game plan will be to confuse Jalen Hurts and stop the running game. And if that's not successful, I think the Chiefs will need a better performance from their offense than I think, most people, like greater than average performance from the offense at that point, if that's what happens.
Yeah. Chiefs obviously have only scored 30 points, but for me, I think, I think you nailed it as far as they're going to try and bring pressure. But I would say the Eagles overall, Jalen Hurts has really improved this season. You saw it a lot in the playoffs on what he's seeing at the line of scrimmage, his audibles. If you've noticed closely, a number of the big plays that Saquon Barkley ran, including he's had 3 explosive touchdowns over 50+ yards. Those are coming off Jalen Hurts audibles. Like I know physically, maybe he was a little quicker at times in the 2022 season, and the offense was in a better rhythm, at least the passing game, certainly. But I think that's kind of the reason they lost against the Chiefs, was because they tried to outgun the Chiefs, outman the Chiefs. To beat the Chiefs, you need to counter punch. And I think this running game, which it's historic in so many ways. One, obviously, Saquon could have broke the rushing record. Probably if he would have played that last game. I'm so glad they didn't. He already obviously set the the season record there with 2005 rushing yards, but this is crazy. So since 1996, Saquon obviously the leader, 2005 rushing yards. LaShawn McCoy in 2013, Chip Kelly's first year, 1607. Saquon Barkley after contact this season, 1,409 rushing yards. So Saquon is incredibly hard to stop, and much like their plan through the entire season, they get a lead and then they squeeze the life out of you. And I think they're going to be able to do this against this Chiefs defense. I think the Texans and to a certain degree the Bills failed by not relying on their running backs enough. I would have loved to see, if I was a Bills backer, and both times I was against, I was betting on the Chiefs, so I was glad these offenses weren't doing it. I would have loved to see James Cook with 20 carries against that Chiefs team. I would have loved to see Joe Mixon get more carries, more attempts. Then let's look at the explosive plays. The explosive play difference to me, this was wild. Coming into this season or this game, explosive play margin, Eagles +47, Chiefs -16. I think they're going to be able to move the ball on this Chiefs defense.
What does that make you like? Is that like you think that that makes it impressive? Like, do you take any sort of like that's impressive the Chiefs are able to get here in spite of not creating explosive plays at all?
Well, and I think you could come back to that and say, yeah. So I think it certainly is impressive, and it highlights how
the Eagles
good
rely on the explosive play.
To a degree, but it's a margin thing. So
I stumbled into something that was pretty wild.
And also too, if you want to look at net yards per play, Chiefs are one of the few teams that have made the Super Bowl with a negative net yards per play, which is pretty crazy. I just think, strictly looking at it from the Eagles offense, I don't think they're going to stop running the ball, and I don't think the Chiefs can stop the run. And I think from watching Jalen Hurts, the confidence he had, the stuff they were doing with the game plan, getting him in rhythm, I thought was huge. And again, it's going to come down to, does Jalen Hurts, if Jalen Hurts fumbles the ball and they get a defensive touchdown, I don't think the Eagles are going to win the game. It'll be like Super Bowl 57. But if he continues to play clean football, efficient, highly rated football, I think the Chiefs are in trouble. And I think the Eagles are going to be able to put up some points on this Chiefs team. I think they're going to be able to get to 30. I have them scoring 32 points in this game.
So when I was diving deeper into each unit, one thing that stood out to me was the Eagles' offensive line metrics. I expected to dive in and see an offensive line that probably had a very, very good, like top of the league adjusted line yards. They are not. They were 20th. I expected to see like a high power success rate. They were not 17th. All of the metrics were there through the roof. Second in running back yards, second in or fourth and second level open field second. It's all running back metrics. It all kind of points back to their reliance on the big play. It actually gave me, as someone who disagrees with your macro take on the game, it gives me more confidence that the Chiefs could slow down the running game and put the game on Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, see but also too, to be fair, that's been the storyline every single game in the Eagles.
What do you mean?
That hey, we can't win in Baltimore. They're going to load up the box. They're going to stop Saquon Barkley, and they're going to force Hurts to beat us with the pass. He can't do that. Pittsburgh Steelers. Oh, you're not going to be able to do that against the Steelers. Oh, you're not going to against the Packers in the playoffs. They're going to load the box. If I'm the Commanders, I'm going to load the box.
But my opinion was not that in that game. It was
okay, I'm just telling you the narrative against the Eagles is stop Saquon Barkley, force Jalen Hurts to beat you. And that hasn't worked for any team.
And I like a week ago, I would have told you I had lower confidence that the Chiefs could do that than I do today.
So, and to me, the formula to beat them, and coming back to on the offensive side, the team that beat them, the Buffalo Bills, how did they beat them in that game? Well, they won the turnover battle and time of possession. And that's the Eagles lead the league in time of possession. Again, why I think they can get this done against the Chiefs is their the turnover margin and the time of possession.
You forgot one key aspect to that Bills game. It was in the regular season. Play them in the regular season. Another key aspect to beating the Chiefs.
Sure. No, the Chiefs are really good. And when the Eagles beat them, it's going to be a historic feat. And Jalen Hurts
I like that.
will get a ton of credit. No, stopping Patrick Mahomes from a three-peat like we stopped Tom Brady from a three-peat. It's historic. What about the defensive side, Ryan?
So defensively, like if I'm looking at the optimistic view of what the Eagles could do, the defensive line is able to win without any additional pressure.
Yep.
And the linebackers are not a liability. Travis Kelce doesn't have a huge game. Whoever that other guy is, Juju. No,
you're talking. Linebacker.
Juju, or there's not like a standout receiver that comes from like the Juju, D-Hop, Noah Gray realm, and they shut down the running game. Because I do think this part of the reason I'm getting more and more bullish on the under is that I feel a little bit more confident that both teams will find a way to be successful running the ball, and so. While I think the Eagles will have success in the pass rush, but I think they're going to find a way. I think the Chiefs are going to find a way to run the ball in this game. And so score drives down off of that. But on the back end, I don't know what to think because it seems very obvious to me. Kelce is going to Kelce or someone in the middle of the field is going to eat, and it seems likely that the Eagles defense will be okay with that. The strength being on the outside where the Chiefs don't really have a strength is interesting to me as well. Will we see one of the DBs try to guard Travis Kelce like we've seen in the past where you put an
So looking at the film stuff, I think they'll
if I'm Quinyon Mitchell, I assume he went to the coach and was like, "Coach, put me on Kelce."
No, what they do mostly the Eagles stick to their sides as far as cornerbacks. And it's been working. Quinyon Mitchell has Quinyon Mitchell's stats are insane. As the primary defender in coverage during the playoffs, opposing quarterbacks 5 of 17, 24 yards, 0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 1.4 yards per attempt. So I don't think I don't think Patrick Mahomes is going to try and throw at Quinyon Mitchell very much.
So why not put him on Kelsey?
I mean, that's not how they run their defense. I think Cooper DeJean will see a ton of Travis Kelce, and he brings some
gets
physicality.
Destroyed by white guys, though. He's not good against white guys.
Adam
Sean.
Thielen has more juice.
Cooper Kupp was he eating on?
Cooper Kupp.
He had some plays on him. I think. You know, we were discussing your dissemination of metrics, but I do think, regardless of what you are willing to push back on, I think Mahomes, from a win-loss perspective, has had success against the Vic Fangio defense. He also has had, like, there have been some lower scoring games, but all in all, if you go look at those games, those logs of those games, like they were able to do what they needed to do against those defenses.
Okay, yeah, and worth noting.
Yeah, again, like I said, you're going to push back with some notes on the offense, but I'm not.
No. I'm going to push back with some notes on the defense. One, no, I mean, this is Vic Fangio's best defense of his career, and that's not really debatable. Number one defenses are 10-2 in the Super Bowl. The Eagles are the number one defense in the league. So he's never had this kind of talent on the defensive side. And yeah, Patrick Mahomes is really good. If you look at his win-loss record against any defensive quarter in the entire NFL, he has a winning record.
He's never lost. Like there's having a winning record and there's never losing.
Right. But okay, if you want to, but then I think if you're talking about winning or losing, you have to factor in the offensive support that Vic Fangio is getting there.
That's fine. I just don't think you can rely on the defense being the same defense they've been in some of these other playoff games. That's my thought on the matter.
Okay. I think
the existence of Patrick Mahomes and his history against
Mahomes
this defense
is great.
Makes it so you cannot rely on this defense to shut down Patrick Mahomes.
Jalen Carter getting after the quarterback. Every defensive tackle that has generated 20+ pressures in a postseason this century. Aaron Donald got 23 in 2021. Chris Jones in 2022, and Jalen Carter has 20 this season so far.
I'm less concerned about to me, I'm more concerned about the edge pressure against Mahomes than I am up the middle.
I think, but Jalen Carter is a guy that can fuck up the run game as well. And I think what they're going to do is do everything they can to help out the middle to slow down Jalen Carter. Yeah. And that's going to create some great opportunities for Nolan Smith. Why I keep coming back to Nolan Smith.
No, I agree. Like I think I would be more concerned about the edge. I think the likelihood that to me, the strongest area that I would bet on having success in this game on the Eagles defense is the edge rush, period.
Edge rush and the secondary.
I'm not willing to make that bet with the secondary because I don't know how much they're going to be tested. And I think it's going to be a lot of bullshit motion, a lot of crossers, a lot of stuff to take again, like you said, they stick to their sides. I think it's going to be a lot of stuff to take them out of their game, put people into the space the linebackers are occupying, and just gimmick shit down the field. And I do think the run game will have some success.
And great point. Another reason why I like this, why I like the Eagles, the way they rally around the ball carrier. I've been watching Eagles football since I can remember. This is and I know you're laughing over there, Ryan, but this is one of the best tackling teams I've seen in the history of watching the Eagles. I can say that without any exaggeration.
That I don't have feedback. Yeah, I don't have a take on that.
They don't allow a ton of yards after the catch because they're incredibly good at tackling.
If I'm being honest, like the one area that I've heard you say this repeatedly, for some reason, like I understand they're a very good defense. The numbers suggest they're a very good defense. I'm not suggesting they're not. They're just my eye test. I don't see this as like an all-time defense, and not that it really even matters, but that, you keep talking about this historic defense. This is the best defense I've ever watched. And I mean,
it is one of the better Eagles.
It's easy to play defense like this when you always have a lead. And I wonder how much of that is clouding your judgment in terms of how good this team is.
And that's the game script I expect to see come Super Bowl Sunday.
Okay.
So what do you have your final score, Ryan? I'm assuming you're on the Chiefs.
Well, you told us you have the Eagles scoring 32.
Yes.
What is your number on the Chiefs? Since I assume it's going to be in the realm of realism.
I I have the Eagles scoring 32 and KC scoring 23. 9-point margin.
That's smart because Mahomes has never scored less than 22 against or 21 against Fangio. So
yeah, no, he can put up 23. He's never played this Eagles offense or the. I mean, you can't. I know you're locked into him versus Fangio, but this is clearly the best Fangio defense.
You're just
correct?
discarding. I mean, yeah, but let's just,
but to say admit
if
that
you own
right?
someone like this,
but he owns plenty of defensive coordinators.
Okay,
and
he's not playing the other defensive coordinators in the Super Bowl this year.
Sure, but okay, so I just don't think the Vic Fangio teams where he was the head coach and he had Drew Lock as his quarterback. I don't think those game flows are really relevant to this team. And I think you're right. This defense needs this offense. The offense's ability to win the time of possession, to control the ball, to not turn it over, to give them a favorable turnover margins is a big part of their success. It's a great team effort.
Yeah, agreed. And that's why the splits for the defense make it they look a lot better when they're playing bad teams.
But they've shut down good offenses too.
Sure. But they've allowed the quarterbacks to do a little bit more. And so I think,
disagree with that.
Okay.
Well, I mean, they went into Baltimore during the regular season and shut down Lamar Jackson, the Ravens.
Yeah, no,
that's a quality win and a great performance by the defense. No.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
I mean, again, we're projecting forward, right?
Yeah, no, I'm saying they've done well against good offenses and good quarterbacks.
Okay. I mean, we could run through the game log. They've been they have piled on and had better games against bad. Like their splits are very clearly. The splits suggest that they have been elite versus the bad teams and very good versus the good teams. That doesn't mean they're bad. You can't hear any sort of negative commentary, but now they're playing Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl. So I would expect the split to be more on the very good versus elite.
Okay.
Again, it's very difficult for you to hear any sort of negative comment.
No, you said they haven't done well against good quarterbacks. I don't.
They haven't done as well against good quarterbacks. That is true. Elite to very good. Haven't done as well.
They did very good job against Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson. On the road.
Okay.
Do you not think those?
Okay.
Are those not elite quarterbacks?
I can pull up again. They won the. We're talking about again. They have not been as good when they're playing better teams. That's fine.
But you could say that about any team, right?
Maybe. Okay. We're not talking about any team. We're talking about the Eagles. What? Okay. So 32-23.
Yes. That's my final score.
26-23.
And you have Chiefs winning. Okay.
Like some people, well, you're not going to live up to your pledge, but I pledge to not bet against the Chiefs in the postseason this year. So not going to do it in the Super Bowl.
Well, you're going to lose then.
Eagles I know you feel that way.
I'm very confident.
You are very confident.
Yeah.
So you have your gambling gods and you're very confident.
We're locked in, baby.
Is there a version of the game that you could see the Eagles losing?
Oh yeah, it's the NFL. Anything can happen.
Okay.
But I feel very confident coming into the game because of our defense, because of our running ability, and the turnovers.
Okay.
So
both teams have been pretty good with the turnovers.
I mean, Chiefs lost the turnover margin last game.
Sure. And they won the game. Yeah. But they've both been very good this postseason taking care of the ball.
Yeah, and I think the Eagles have a better defense and a better running game, and I think that's going to be the difference.
Okay. Obviously, you think the Eagles are going to win.
Well, obviously, you think the Chiefs are going to. What do you mean?
I forget that it doesn't actually become rational. Even if I'm making a rational point, it gets met with irrational.
When have you made a rational point that I push back with irrationally?
Anything I say about Vic Fangio.
What do you mean?
Anything I say about Vic Fangio, not a valid point. Anything I bring up about Mahomes and his track record, not a valid point.
Mahomes is very good, and he's done very well historically against Vic Fangio's defense. I agree with that. I think this version of the Vic Fangio defense is his best version, and I don't know if it's going to apply as much. I have them scoring 23 points. I don't think that's an irrational.
And we haven't talked about Sirianni versus Andy Reid. Andy Reid brought out a whole slew of new plays last week. There's going to be the good plays this for the Super Bowl. And yeah, I'm not betting against that.
Okay.
I think you're crazy to bet against it. Not that I'm not talking to you, just talking to the general public. And yeah, when I uncovered the
you're crazy to listen to Ryan because the Eagles running game and defense is going to be the difference in the game.
Okay. I agree. If we're talking about Saquon Barkley and the Eagles defense, the Eagles have won the game.
100% agree.
But that's not going to be the story.
Okay. Yeah.
So.
I mean, you're entitled to your opinion. I get it.
Jalen Hurts will make a horrible mistake holding on to the ball, fumbling, causing the Philly fans to be in split, civil war, enraged in the offseason. Yeah, I think they're going to put it on his shoulders, and he's going to lose the game.
Okay,
that would be my prediction.
I disagree.
Yeah. All right, 26-23.
26-23. Ryan is saying the Chiefs are going to win by a field goal. I got the Eagles.
It's an 11-point game that they backdoor at the end there.
Okay. My niece Addie has the Eagles winning 27-18.
Whoa, where'd she come up with 18?
She's got her system. She's when we asked her
you
about
buy
the
square?
Rams. When we asked her about, I will be playing that over on the Circuit Squares. When I asked her the Rams score, she nailed the margin there. And we both had,
score or the margin.
The margin.
Okay.
And we both had a 9-point win by the Eagles without contacting each other. And maybe she has the VSiN guide. I don't know.
Yeah, the sixes. I'm buying up some sixes squares. Yeah, you got to buy her that square, or
I
not
will.
For her, but proxy it. Gambling's illegal for kids.
Let's go. And yeah, big week of props, big show. Let's get it.
Thank you for participating in the Sports Gambling Podcast.
People have asked, will there be a Super Bowl song this week?
Yes, of course.
All right.
Thank you for participating in the Sports Gambling Podcast.
For Sports Gambling Podcast, I'm Sean, stacking the money green. He's Ryan.
6-8 in the first quarter.
Kramer, let it ride.